get this thing rocking and rolling because I teased y'all a little bit yesterday with my video showing what was going on, what I was doing, and I was going on a listing appointment. I kind of showed you real quick about what I was doing, and I got to be honest, I had about 30, 45 minutes to prepare for this listing appointment, and so I wanted to show everybody what I do for a quick, fast, easy listing appointment. Now, just to let you know, I had sold the next door neighbor's house. I represented the buyers when they moved in. They became friends with their neighbors, and she recommended my client recommended this neighbor to help me list her house. And so, number one, referrals are huge, guys. Make sure people know what you do. You're looking for referrals. Take good care of your clients because that's always going to be how these things go down. Work hard, show that you care. And that's what she kept telling the lady. She's like, you're going to love Colin's energy. You're going to love how, he busts his ass for you. She said all these things, great things about me. And she goes, okay. Now, unbeknownst to me, I'm glad I put this listing presentation together because a lot of people will just go out there thinking this is a slam dunk. And it turns out I was right. It wasn't a slam dunk. What was going on is that she actually had a lot of other friends that are realtors. And she literally, one of the questions she asked me is like, why should I use you? So before we get going, I want to walk y'all through exactly what went down on this thing. So I show up to the house. I walk in the door. She actually beat me to the door. She meets me outside. She's a real friendly lady. I do my, hellos, all that good stuff. And we walked in the door. I immediately noticed that her house was immaculate. It looked like the house had been staged. She took very good care of her house. She was a single lady, a little bit older. She was obviously retired. She told me she worked a few days out. But one of the first things I do whenever I walk into a house is they always either like, do you want something to drink or anything like that? I actually had a drink with me, so I turned it down. If anybody ever offers you a drink, my recommendation is take it. Sales 101, it kind of helps the situation, makes them look like they're doing something. Can I get you a bottle of water? Sure, I'd love one, right? Even if you're not thirsty, it always just kind of helps. The next thing I did before I sat down, before I started talking, as you saw, I had my stuff in a binder and I had a drink in my other hand. I was like, would you mind showing me around the house while we're standing up? So rule number one about sales is to ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. You need to know what's going on in the situation before you go any further. Since we're already standing, hey, would you mind showing me around the house just so I can take a look at it? Sure, no problem. She takes me around the house. Now, I do this for a couple of reasons. One is it's going to tell me how close I was with my CMA. I'm going to know exactly what the entirety of her house looks like. We're going to go inside, outside, closets, bathrooms. We're looking at everything. And I take her around the house. The other thing that it's going to do for me is it's going to teach me a lot about my client. It's going to teach me a whole lot about my client. So as I'm walking around the house with my client, I see a lot of very country decor and a lot of paintings, like somebody had painted a bunch of stuff. I saw a lot of religious scriptures, different things like that posted against the wall. I noticed that one of her rooms was, like I said, she was a single lady, probably in her 60s. I noticed she had a bunch of children's play toys in the front room. Like I said, I saw a lot of paintings. I saw a lot of kind of what I would call country chic. She had the mounted bust of a Blackhorn buck on her wall. So I'm starting to learn my client before I do anything, and I'm letting her do all the talking. Now, I will ask questions about the decor she has because I'm genuinely interested. I'm like, oh my God, who painted this? You know what I mean? One of them, she had a picture of two little girls, and then right above it was a painting of that exact picture. And I was like, and it was a really good painting. So I asked her who took that painting, and she's like, oh, this and that. And she's like, those are my two daughters. They were wearing my great grandmother's clothes. My mother actually painted this painting for me. So I'm learning that she's got a strong tie to family. I'm learning that she's a Christian woman. I'm learning that she's got grandbabies because she's got in the front room of the house. I also noticed that she's a little bit country. Some of the other paintings that I started, and I asked her about the paintings. I was like, this one looks like it's from West Texas. He's like, oh my God, yeah, we lived out in the Odessa area for a really long time. That's where my family's from. Guys, right here is where I'm picking up talking points because as I'm walking around the house, I am doing a very visual representation of what I see. Is the house in any kind of disarray? Do I see foundation problems? Do I see this? Do I see that? I'm really taking a look at this house because I ran a CMA without seeing this house.
Okay.
Tip number one is take a CMA, but we'll get there on that. And plus, it's given me an opportunity to do some rapport building. Now, if you go back to my sales thing, that's what I'm doing in rapport building. I'm talking to her about my family out in West Texas. Oh yeah, they're actually from Gardendale. He rides cutting horses. I see that you ride horses. Whatever it is, you'll find some point to talk to this person about it and do a little bit of rapport building. And that's a great opportunity to do this. So we walked around the house for about 20 minutes. I do ask her simple questions if y'all want to write these down. What makes your house special, right? How is it different from the other house? And she's like, oh my God, I got to show you the master bathroom. Since I had sold the house next door, she knew that the master bathroom was significantly bigger. I was like, oh, that is a great thing about it. You know what I mean? What improvements have you done to this house? Oh my God, I put in all new floors throughout the entire thing. I redid this. So she's telling me what she's improved. And there's nothing rude about writing some of this stuff down, guys, as you're going through it. I have a binder. There's some pieces of paper. I'll write that down. New flooring throughout, oversized master bath. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of jotting these things down because I don't want to forget them later. I'm rapport building. I'm asking questions. I'm learning about the house. I'm learning about my client. And I'm doing all of this simply by asking questions over and over again. I might tell a few stories about family members or whatever's going on, but I'm telling you, I'm trying to keep that 80-20 rule in place. I want her talking 80% of the time, me 20% of the time. This A, makes her understand that I'm listening. B, it allows me to get the information I need about my client and about what her desires are. Some other questions that I would write down that I think are very important to ask. Do you have a timeline in mind? When are you thinking about moving? She told me, this is important for this training exercise, that she was scheduled to close on another house on September 21st. What my next question was really, wow, where is it? She's like, oh, it's down in Rockport. Rockport, for those of y'all that don't know, it's just east of Port Aransas by, I don't know, 15, 20 miles. So it's down on the coast. So if she, and guys, this is a great opportunity. I'm learning about my client. She's already got a house under contract. I said, oh, who helped you get that under contract? I've got a friend down at the coast that knows the person. So she's got a representation on that other side. That would be a good opportunity for me to pick up a buyer's rep agreement. But right now I'm working on sellers. Okay, great. Wonderful. So let me ask you, why did you call me in? I really wanted to know that question. Other than the fact that I got a referral from Mindy, and she told me flat out, oh, I've got a lot of friends that are realtors, but Mindy and Christina, the neighbors, were so in love with you. I just had to meet you and find out what's going on. I said, great. So I'm finding out that now I'm in a competitive selling situation. That was a very important question because I'm so glad that I did this listing appointment the way I did, because now I know I'm in a competitive selling situation. One of the points I want to make is I did not start vomiting all over her. I did not start saying, oh my God, well, let me tell you what, I'm just asking questions. I'm asking questions. We get ready to this. And I was like, okay, well, hey, do you have a place where we can sit down? And she goes, yeah, not a problem. When I sat down with her, I proceeded to ask her a few more questions about this. Do you own the house outright, or do you need to have something called a net sheet put together for you? She's like, no, I own it outright. So, pretty much whatever the cost. I was like, wonderful. So I hear you're in a pretty quick hurry to get this thing kind of sold. It looks like it's ready to stage for me. Is there anything that you wouldn't be able to start listing this thing just as soon as possible? She goes, oh, nope, I'd like to have it listed by this weekend. I said, fantastic. So guys, I've already handled a few things. I've handled a couple of objections. I handled the procrastination objection because we found out she's got to sell this house very quickly. She's ready to list it by the weekend. By the way, guys, I went on this meeting on a Tuesday. For those looking at this in the future, we got to go till Thursday. I don't immediately start talking about benefits or anything like that when she says something like that to me. I'm just like, okay, got it. Yeah, we got to be moving then, don't we? Because we got to list it here. It takes about 30 to 45 days to close the house right now. That's going to be right around September 21st. She's like, yeah, it sure is. And so the next part of this, guys, is I said, well, let me tell you a little bit about what makes us different. And by the way, I have picked up all these little tidbits about things she's told me. I asked her, she's like, oh, I've got other friends. I asked a question about those friends. Oh, really? Where are they realtors at? Well, they're realtors out in Castroville. They're realtors here. They're realtors there, right? Mm-hmm. I don't say, well, I'm a realtor here in San Antonio, so that makes me better. You don't say that. I've just got that piece of ammunition, right? I saved that for a little bit later. Okay. So what I wanted to do, guys, is you're looking at the Listing Booster home screen. This comes from us from Robin and Mortgage Financial Services. They actually hook us up with this. And this is such an amazing, fast, easy thing because I was able to do this in 2.2 seconds because I didn't have a whole lot of time. She was like, hey, can you be here in an hour? It was about a half-hour drive. I got about a half hour to figure this thing out. Oh, come on, Colin. What is my password? Did I change my password on this thing? Maybe I did. My account. Oh, I got to figure that out. anyhow, when you get into Listing Booster, guys, by the way, you need to call Ariel. If you don't have Ariel's number, I'm going to put it here on the screen. Stop it. I'm going to put it here on the screen. I see what I'm going to do is something changed. I don't know what happened. God only knows. But I'm going to call Ariel, and I'm going to put her number on the screen for you guys right now. Here's her email address, guys. Ariel@mfsus.com. I had her phone number. I got a new phone, guys, and it has jacked up all of my stuff. So here's her email address. If you need that, and look, see, it even went away right now. Anyhow, hopefully you caught that. If not, go back. Oh, I got too many things open. I hate when it does this. Sorry, guys, bear with me. You know, James and I were talking before we started recording, and he's like, I told him I blew a speaker. He's like, is this thing old? I was like, yeah, it's a little bit old, and now it really looks a little bit old. So far, sorry for the delay in this. I'm trying to find out what exactly is holding me up. Well, it looks like it's all working now. I don't know what this is. Okay, anyways, when you get into Listing Booster, guys, I don't know why that thing's messing up right now, but when you get into Listing Booster, there is a thing that you can download called the Agent to Seller PowerPoint. I'm going to mute you. Sorry about that. No, it's not James. And that's okay, I got him muted. All right, so you get this Agent to Seller PowerPoint thing that you can download from there. Contact Ariel, have her get you set up in this. What I'll actually do is I'll put this in the important documents just so you have this later. Because Listing Booster actually does a lot of stuff to boost your listings, and it's really nice. So what I did in this particular instance, I simply just printed out this PowerPoint. I didn't have time to customize it, which I normally like to do. I just printed this thing out straight up as it is. And so when I started the presentation with her, and I said, hey, her name was Nancy. Hey, Nancy, so let me just tell you a little bit about what we do. A lot of realtors do a lot of things very much the same. I'm handling some objections right out the gate. I said, almost every realtor will put your house into the MLS. I said, when you put stuff into the MLS, it automatically gets pushed to a lot of those websites like realtor.com and all of those good things, Zillow, Redfin, whatever it might be. And that's a great way to get publicity. A lot of people don't have, like normal clients don't have access to MLS, but they do have access to realtor.com. One of the bad things about working when it goes to realtor.com is I don't know who's looking at that house. So I want to utilize those avenues, but at the same time, I'm going to take some extra steps to make sure that I control the content and that I control who's coming and taking a look at your house. So we do some very unique things when we go through doing this. I said, and that's when I do it on this page. I said, we do a lot more than just put a sign in your yard and throw it in the MLS, okay? I'm going to be using the best technology I possibly can to get this house sold as quickly as possible for you. So one of the first things that we do is instead of having realtor.com/123 Main Street, that's the realtor.com address. What I actually do is I'm going to build a dedicated website to just your property. So we're going to have a website that is 100% designed just for you, and I control that website. So as I go to start pushing things out through marketing, I'm going to be marketing this website. And I do this for a very strategic reason. One, on realtor.com's website, I can't control what the content looks like. I can't control what they're showing them. That's all realtor.com. On this one, I can control it. So if there's some specific things that you really want me to feature in your house, or if there's like that community we were in was very specific to golfers. There was 2 golf courses that were right next to each other, and we could actually use those 2 as a good marketing tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that at the forefront, and I'm going to try and market this thing to as many golfers as I possibly can. The reason why it's so important that I have a dedicated website to you is because now I get to know exactly who is using or who is coming to this website. In order to take a tour of this home, they're going to have to connect with Facebook or give me their email address. So I immediately know who is looking at your website or who's looking at your house, and I can contact them if I need to, which is a great little information capture. When somebody goes to realtor.com and they push contact the agent, they do not contact Colin. Realtor.com actually sells those leads. So they're going to some random realtor, and I have no idea who that is. If it goes to some random realtor who is terrible at this, and he never contacts them, never follows up, then we might have lost a potential buyer on this side of things. However, if it comes through my website, I'm going to know exactly who that is. Now, the other thing is if they have any questions about the website, yes, realtors are working 24/7, but I do sleep from time to time. We actually have a chat bot on your website. So if they get in there and they have specific questions, they can ask this robot, and the robot will engage your prospects 24/7. It's always going. If it gets to some questions that are too hard, it'll either email me or say, it'll email me and contact me and say, hey, Colin, you need to call this person. I don't understand these specific questions. General questions it'll tend to answer, and it definitely engages the client. So for those people that like to look on houses online and get answers to their questions very quickly, no matter what time of day it is, this is a great thing for them. Now, I do create virtual tours for your property. One of the things that I use personally, guys, you may or may not use this, is I like to take Matterport pictures, which creates complete 3D renderings of your house. And we can actually stitch this together as a true walkthrough, because the people can stop, they can look up, they can look down, they can look left, they can look right, and then continue to play the video. So if they get into a room, it's not just what I've decided to present to them. It's actually they can take a look at the entire house, which a lot of people find very comforting, especially since we have so many people that are moving in from out of state. It's hard for them to go look at the house, and this is the most accurate representation of your house that we can get, because it is full 3D rendering. We create a virtual tour on that, and now I have a virtual tour of your house. And we create property videos for you as well that we can upload to social media, to YouTube and all the other social media things. So once I have this video and once I have your direct website, guys, I push this thing out everywhere, including realtor.com, all that stuff. I put it on Facebook, Craigslist, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, it goes out to anywhere and everywhere I can. I also work really hard to find the right hashtags for people that are looking for houses, the right ways to market these things through the social media and gain exposure to your website. And every time somebody clicks on one of these things, I know who they are, where they came from, and I personally can follow up with them. The next thing I want to point out is that we do something a little different with drive-by traffic. Kind of the old school game on this, guys, is that they will print flyers out and put them in a little box, which it's effective. I might do that as well, but we also have a way to capture their information just by simply getting a text message from them. What we put on all of our signs is they can text for instant info on this, and they text, BST 700 or whatever it might be to a certain number, and it'll actually text them your personalized website. And now I have those phone numbers as well. This one seems to be really big with the millennial generation, the younger home buyers. For some reason, they're very hesitant to talk to somebody right away to ask questions. They'd rather see how many questions they can answer on their own. And if they're driving by, I now have it where all they've got to do is text me, and they get 110% of that information without ever having to talk to me if they don't want to. But I do capture their information, which is nice. Also, all of your flyers are going to include so much more than just your house. My digital media, my print media has got things that will also say what schools are nearby, what golf courses are nearby, what the nearest place to eat is, open house flyers. I mean, we have so many customizable flyers that are not just about your house, but about the lifestyle that your house brings to them. And last but not least, have you ever watched TV on like a Saturday morning and on whatever channel, there's just like this rolling loop of houses, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. I said, well, there's actually an app for that. And we will be having your thing. We'll have your feature, we'll be able to feature your listing on television as well. So some people download an app where they can actually view homes on TV sitting in the comfort of their living room, and your house will be available there as well. Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, Android, whatever it might be. So you're getting so much exposure across the way to be able to help sell this house as quickly as you can. And I know you're in a bit of a hurry, right? Yes, I am. Wonderful. So guys, I don't settle. This is what I do. And I want to show you a little bit about what I learned about your house. So the next thing I'll do, I don't know if I have one saved in here or not, because this is all in one straight thing. By the way, guys, I checked for a lot of understanding throughout this. Let's see, I think this will be a random CMA. This is not the house. I don't know whose CMA this is, but what is this? Yeah, it's a different house, but it's fine. Now, the next thing I have is the CMA for them, okay? And I walk them through the CMA. So I'm able to pull the subject property, all the information about the subject property. Guys, go watch the CMA video. But one of the things I really like to do is I walk them through each one of these houses that I used as a comp one at a time. and I show them that I put through a lot of work on this. Now, I can do a CMA in about 15, 20 minutes, a simple one. And I'm able to say, okay, so if you notice here, here's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Here's what's interesting is they listed it for 205 and it actually sold for 215 at 144 a square foot. And that closed back in April. And then I go to the next one and I just kind of walk her through and I show her and I was like, so here's the pluses, the minus, the differences. And then I get to the comparables and I show them how I made the adjustments going through this. And I show her, where they're at in the neighborhood. And I said, it's really important to pull comps from your neighborhood. I explain all that to them. Area market statistics. I'm not going to walk through all this because that's another video. But then I come up with the suggested marketing price of $224. And I tell her very honestly, I said, this was what I noticed before I walked your house. Now that I've walked your house, I can tell you that this looks a lot better than all the rest of these. So this particular one right here, I said, you need to list your house at $240,000. And here's why. Guys, it is so important that you run a CMA for every listing that you have to show that you've done your homework on it. The other conversation I have, so let's say I show her this and she says, yeah, I see 240, but I really want to list it for 260. Hey, your wish is my command. I will do whatever you tell me to. I just want to let you know that there's a financing problem with that. If the house only appraises for 240 or 225, the buyer's going to have to come up with a difference. And I go through all that stuff with her. So then when I get done with all of this, I ask if you have any questions. And then there's a very simple question that I ask at the end of this. I just simply say, hey, are you ready to get started on this today? That's my question. Okay. And that's going to give me a lot of feedback on this. Okay. She said, I think I'm ready to start. She goes, well, I really want to sleep on it. That's actually what she told me. And I've got a really good way to sleep on this. I got a really good retort to that. She goes, well, I really want to sleep on this. Guys, I do try to close every sale I possibly can as quickly as I possibly can. I want to close it on the spot. I want her to sign the exclusive right to sell. However, I do not, what is more important than anything to me is I do not want my customers to feel pressured or uncomfortable in any reason at all. So if anybody gives me a procrastination objection, which is the number one objection that I feel like people run into, I know it's the number one objection I run into. I don't know if you noticed at the beginning of my conversation, I tried to handle that objection up front. You got to say, if you keep running into objections, you need to handle that objection up front. I run into a lot of procrastination objections. I handled that up front. I said, hey, when do you want to move? Oh, yeah, we got to be getting on that thing today. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense. So now what she said to me, she goes, I'd really like to sleep on it. I said, yeah, not a problem at all. Do you mind if I ask you another question? She's like, sure. I said, a lot of people, when they tell me they want to sleep on it, are either A, trying to find a very nice way to tell me they don't want to work with me, or B, they have some sort of question that just hasn't been answered yet. Which one of those categories do you fall into? And by the way, you need to just shut up after that and wait for that answer. If she goes, well, my friend Susan really does all of this stuff and I've known her for 20 years. Okay, great. All right. Depending on what she says Susan does, I may really strong arm this. I may go back and forth. I may not. I usually don't strong arm anybody on this unless she's like, well, my friend Susan uses a telegraph machine and she actually sends Morse code to all of the other agents in Castroville. I'm probably going to beat that one up. If she says, no, it's a really good friend of mine, she actually uses the exact same technology, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. I might try and find some other ways to get around that depending on the comments that were made. But I'd much rather know walking out of that listing appointment if the answer is a no. That way I'm not spending the next 2 weeks trying to follow up with her and she's just being too nice. On the flip side of that, if she tells me, hey, yeah, actually, my friend Susan said that she does X, Y, and Z, do you do that as well? That's a great question because that's the question that she doesn't want. Anybody that gives you a procrastination objection, that's one of the two things. Either A, they don't see the value in using you, and you need to find that out, or B, they just want to tell you no. So one of the questions she did ask me throughout that conversation was like, do you charge the full 6%? And I said, yes, I do. Now, where I messed up, I should have asked her, are your friends charging her the full 6%? Now, guys, I do not discount my services. Neither should you. I have kind of a smart ass answer when somebody says that. Well, yeah, she says she's only going to charge me 1% and 3% for the other realtor, so she's going to do it for 4%. Depending on how well I built rapport, like if we're in a good laughing matter, I'm like, well, I'm glad she knows what she's worth. I might say something real cheeky like that. But a lot of times people ask me, and I said, and I just tell them, I was like, I can't do it. I said, I only work with people that are referred to me, and I bust my butt for those people. As you can see, that taking all of this stuff, putting it online, answering the chat bots, taking care of all this stuff does eat up a lot of my time. And I said, because of that, I do charge the full 3%, but I don't charge anything extra for that. And that's a little bit nicer way of putting it. But that's how I handle the procrastination objections. And that's what I do in my listing presentation, pretty much start to finish. A lot of people ask me for scripts, and then we do have some scripts available in agents on the agent site. I'm not being in sales for so long. I've had so many people ask me, like, how do you feel about doing scripts? How do you feel about, don't you think? And there are some people that swear up and down by scripts. They're like, if you don't learn your script, you're not a salesperson. I kind of disagree with that. I think scripts are important to learn, but they're not important to go by. If you get a script memorized, then you have an idea of what you want to be saying the entire time. But if you're not asking questions and listening, you're not doing a good job of selling. Reading a script is too much. It's too rote. It's too forceful. You want it to be an interaction where you're asking questions and getting along with it and paying attention to what your person is saying, not just waiting for your turn to talk. So I'm pretty sure I put, by the way, listing checklist. Once you get your listing, you need to put that in there and make sure that is known. Here's an absentee owner script. I do have a lot of scripts in here. I don't know if I put one in here for a listing presentation. If not, this is going to be it. So, all right, well, questions, comments, concerns. Anybody, anywhere? What's going on? What are you thinking? Where are we at? James, you got any questions? I got you.
Yeah, I got, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the 3D video? You said the name of the picture was it Matter something?
Matterport. Yeah.
Matter.
And I do have an example for this on my phone, which I did show. Oops. Matterport. 1 second. It is pretty slick. Sorry, let me share my screen again. That Matterport technology is slick. So I like it. It costs a bit more to do this. But hold on a second. Let me see if I can find one that I used. Yeah, but it's Matterport. And if you just Google Matterport photographer San Antonio, you'll find a handful of people that go out and do this. It does tend to be a little bit more expensive than regular photography. However, and I will also say this, some regular photography people do an amazing job at photoshopping the sky to look better and photoshopping the what am I trying to say? They like the lights to look a little more twinkly, and they do a great job, and those things come out looking amazing. However, you got to be very careful with no, not that one. Oh crap. You want to make sure that it's a fair representation of the house that you're trying to sell. Sorry, I'm looking for a house that I did so I can show you. Now, the Matterport photos, they do come out good. However, it's just a very bright, shiny picture, if that makes any sense. So, sorry, I almost found this. Oh my gosh. No, that's not the one I want. Sorry, that's a video. I know this is loud. Where's that Matterport picture so I can show you? It is super cool.
I used one when I bought my house.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't know the name of it.
Yeah, it's called Matterport.
So you use Listing Booster every time you do a listing?
I try to, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And do you see a difference from the point of, the interest in the property as opposed to just doing the MLS?
I think that it makes your customers feel like a little, well, no, Listing Booster is tied to MLS. Excuse me. Let me prepare that. So once you've got to put it in the MLS in order for Listing Booster to work.
But you gain more with the customer as opposed to the market.
Well, it gives me more opportunities to market the property.
Okay.
Is what that does. It gives me more opportunity to market the property. Man, I can't find a good example of this. Sorry, I can't find the right one I'm looking for. It's killing me. Oh, I'm trying to think of another one here. No. So yeah, anyways, Matterport. What other questions you got? Vanessa, you got any questions?
I'm sorry I was late, but actually I did. So how much, do you have to pay for that Listing Booster?
No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to pay for that Listing Booster at all.
Oh, okay.
It is a paid program, and you can go pay for it if you want. However, Mortgage Financial Services is paid for us to use that.
Like for White Line or?
Yeah, for White Line, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Then I will check that up.
Let me call her husband and see if I can get it. What's your wife's phone number? I lost so many numbers when I got this new phone, and it's driving me crazy. And it was one of those things, like, as soon as I transferred everything, I was like, oh, good, it all transferred. But it turns out it transferred numbers of people that I never talked to, and everybody that I want to talk to, it does not do. Let's see if I can just show you an example through their website. This is a cool way to do this, and it creates a cool walkthrough video. It allows people to do a lot of cool stuff. If you've never seen this technology, I like using it. I can't remember how much my lady charges me for, $500, something like that. But you get still images, so you do get the stills, and then you also get this big rendering thing as well, which, God, it's taken forever to download. But it allows you to literally click and walk around the house. So as we look around the house, this will show you exactly how it works. So this is called the dollhouse effect. So as you can see, you're looking at that entire store. And if I want to look at the floor plan, I can do this, and it'll pull out the top of the house, and I can ask to see, well, I want to see the ground floor. I want to see the first floor and the kitchen. I want to see all of them. You can do the dollhouse effect, where I can look around and actually get an idea of, like, okay, well, here's the entryway, and here's one of the bedrooms and all this stuff. Or you can explore it in 3D, which will plop you in there, and I can turn around and I can look up. I can see what the ceiling looks like, the floor looks like. And anywhere you see these little dots, you can jump around and stand in that location. So it's super cool to be able to just move around. So this is a store, obviously, but it's like, man, I really want to see everything in this store. I mean, it's really cool how well this software works. Plus, it makes a really cool way for them to be able to do You can do virtual reality through this. You can share it through all of your things, and you can also create a video where it'll just walk through from the beginning. So it's like, oh, so here's the exterior of the house, and this is your virtual walkthrough video. Literally walks them straight through the entire property. A great way to do this without having the old fashioned where they just stitch a bunch of pictures together. You're actually looking around the property, which I think is super awesome. So I'm going to pause that for now. All right, any other questions?
Good to go.
So guys, what I would do is I'd call Ariel on Listing Booster. I know I put, oh, there's a presentation on Listing Booster. Go back to the YouTube and then find that one. I know she's got her information on there. So for those of y'all that are not liking and subscribing and all that good stuff to White Line, guys, and by the way, that's my quick and fast listing presentation when I don't have a whole lot of time to get it through. That's what I tell people, a little bit about what makes us different, how I go about asking all the questions. White Line Realty. If you are not subscribed to our video, you need to be in here. And if I search this place for listing, yeah, right here, listing appointments. Listing Booster with Get Ariel Cap. So this will have her information and all that good stuff on here, guys. Cool. So there you go. Other than that, you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.